What's going on, all my toy collectors and turtle fans out there? You know who it is. It's your boy Ox, and welcome to the Cave of Wonders. Now, I know for the last week and a half I've been absent from the channel. That's not because I don't want to be here bringing you guys really cool content. It's because it's summertime where I'm living, so it's warm outside, so I'm able to do a lot of house projects that I wasn't able to do when it was snowing outside. But today we're going to go ahead and take a look at the cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimate April O'Neil figure by Neca Toys. This figure right here is based off of the original Ninja Turtles cartoon that came out in the 80s and 90s. Let's go ahead and crack this baby open and take a look at it. Now, starting off with the front of the box, you can see up top it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and on the front of the box you guys can see all four of the turtles right there in Splinter, and they're watching April O'Neil's broadcast on the TV right there. You guys can see it says Nickelodeon, let you know that this is made by Neca Toys. Now, I've already measured this box out for you guys. It measures out to 6.5 inches long by 9.5 inches tall by 3 inches in depth. So that's how much shelf space you're going to need if you're going to be displaying this in the box. Taking a look at the side of the box, it just says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right there. It says Mutant Interest Story, just letting you know, obviously, that April O'Neil's reporting on a story, basically. This thing, obviously, is called the Ultimate April O'Neil because there was already an April O'Neil that already came out in a 2-pack when Neca first started doing these Toon Turtle figures, but a lot of people weren't able to get that figure, and a lot of people weren't on this line, weren't collecting this line right away when it first came out, so they missed out on that 2-pack, so they weren't able to have an April O'Neil. So that's why it's pretty cool that they ended up releasing this one, and this one actually looks a lot better than the one that came in that 2-pack, my opinion, of course. Little read up if you guys need to right there, some images of this April O'Neil figure next to some other turtles that Neca had came out with. Same thing on this side. If you open it up right here, you guys can see a really cool portrait of the action figure right there. And then you guys can see a clear package window showing you the figure and a bunch of the accessories that come with this action figure, okay? All right, now here's Miss O'Neil out of the box. You guys can see she comes with a gang of accessories. They wouldn't call her Ultimate April O'Neil if she didn't come with all of these accessories. She comes with this little device right here that ends up locking around her and keeping her basically like cuffed or handcuffed or like locked up basically in place. She comes with this little tape deck device that has a microphone hooked onto it. She comes with an extra microphone that doesn't have a cord hooked onto it. Her little camera device right there. She comes with 10 extra set of hands, 2 extra head sculpts, a little plant that looks like it's been mutated. I have no idea what this little beaver looking thing right here is. I'm going to guess that's a little pizza monster, a communication device, a picture frame, and then a book called The Hare in the Tortoise. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this right here first. On the back of the box, you guys can remember that it actually showed April in this little device right here. It's kind of trapped around her basically. So it does have a little hinge on it right here that ends up opening and then closing in case you guys want to, and you guys just wrap that right around her chest plate right there. This right here is her little News 6 channel 6 video camera right here. I'm gonna guess she's able to hold it, and she can hold it on her shoulder right there if she needs to. And I'll show you guys all of these accessories once I hook them onto her, okay? This right here is a little tape device. You guys can see it has a little plastic wrap right here that wraps around her neck and around her shoulder, and then it has a little what's it called, microphone attached to it as well, and you can see it does have the number 6 on it as well. And then she has a second one of those little microphones right here, and it doesn't have a cord hooked to it. All right, now she does have 10 extra set of hands, and there's a lot of hands, so a total of 12 because she has 2 gripping hands right there to hold devices, but she has 2 different pointing hands for each, for obviously your left and a right. She has a palm hand right here. She has one that's holding up 2, obviously, probably so she can count down like, 3, 2, 1, right before they shoot, basically. So she has a lot of extra set of hands. Open hands, ones that are just, like I said, pointing 1, ones that's pointing 2. Obviously, when she's just counting down before she starts recording, okay? Now, taking a look at these different head sculpts, you guys can see she has that head sculpt right there, which we'll take a look at. And then she has this one right here, which is almost basically the same besides the fact she's smiling and it's showing a little bit of her teeth right there, okay? Now, obviously, Neca always does a great job on their paint work. I love all these extra black lines. They did that on all of these cartoon turtles right here, kind of make them look more like the cartoon. And I love that they did that. This face looks really amazing. I'm probably going to end up using this face right here. Then she has this one right here with the little wrapping around it. Obviously, this right here is probably when she's been captured, and she has that little locking device on her. They obviously blindfolded her so she couldn't see where she was going. This little plant, which I've seen before, I think this is the same plant that came with Splinter. I'm not really for sure. I'll take a look at that a little bit later. But this is just a little plant, little cartoon plant. Like I said, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like some kind of robotic beaver or something like that. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments, okay? But a little cool little statue, I think. And then you got this little plant right here that looks like it's been mutated. It has teeth right there. Pretty cool. I love it that Neca throws in all of these little tiny accessories, man. It gives you something to display next to your figure or like on little tables behind it or something. This right here, I think this was a pizza monster if I remember before they got bigger and then turned into them big old huge yellow pizza monsters. But yep, there's one of those. Little picture frame right here. Now I'm going to guess that's maybe her grandma or something. I'm not really for sure. I can't really remember, but that's what I think it is. I'm not really for sure though. Let me know down in the comments if you guys know, okay? Then she comes with a little book right here, the hare and the tortoise. And then on the back, you just see a turtle holding the trophy right there, letting you know that it's won. And then she also comes with this really cool little turtle communication device. Lots of detail on all these little things. And then you guys can also open it up. It has a little hinge right there. So you guys can open it up and it has little buttons on it. I love the fact that Neca puts in so much detail on these toys. I mean, if you're not a collector of the whole line, that's perfectly fine because there's a lot of these figures and a lot of them some people don't want and don't care about. There's a lot of them that I just passed on because I didn't really care about them. But the fact that they put in so much work on just these cartoon figures and all the little tiny details, I think that's a really cool that a toy company is willing to do that. And they're not charging you like, you know, $100 for these figures. You know, they're, you know, roughly in the, you know, if you buy a 2-pack, they might be $25, $30 a figure. You just buy them alone like I did. I got this one from the Neca store and it took a little while for it to ship. It took months for it to ship to me. And this thing ended up being like, I think it was $34 plus shipping. But now taking a look at the figure up close, I've already measured her out for you. She ended up measuring out to 6 inches tall. And taking a look at her, you guys can see that, like I said, the head sculpt, it's almost the same. It's just she has a different mouth. You know, obviously her mouth is open a little bit more here. You guys can see her teeth compared to this one right here. And then obviously the, you know, a little bit more black right here in the lining of her bangs, okay? Now, I don't have the original April O'Neil that came in that 2-pack with the foot soldier, so I can't compare this figure for you guys. Just because, like I said, I was late to collecting this line. I missed out on most of the first few figures that had came out, and I'm slowly getting them now that they're re-releasing those figures. But sometimes it's worth the wait. This figure looks a lot better whenever I look up that old April O'Neil. This one looks a lot better in my opinion. But like I said, I don't have that figure in order to compare it for you guys. But taking a look at her up close, now I do see a little bit of paint, you know, issues, but a lot of times you get that on these cartoon turtles because they paint over some of the joints and they have so much articulation that it ends up making it really hard to bend some of the joints because, and she's skinny, she's really small, really petite, so you're kind of nervous about possibly breaking the figure when you're trying to bend these. That's why it's always good to heat them up in water. I have not heated her up in water, and I noticed one of my joints has not been able to move yet, so I'm not going to bend it right here, but I will bend it on the other side for you guys, all right? But first, let's go around and take a look at her. You guys can see she has this little thing right here hooked onto the back of her belt, which is like a little tiny, it doesn't open up or hinge open or anything like that. But that's just really cool details, like I said, that they always end up doing with these Neca figures. Neca never disappoints, man, whether they're doing the live action or the cartoon figures. You guys can see all the black pinstripes all over her suit right there. And like I said, they do that a lot for all the cartoon figures, just to, you know, show you all the, you know, definition of the character, kind of like a 3D kind of looking thing. Now let's go over articulation real quick. Her head does rotate all the way around if you need it to. It doesn't look up at all. I think it's her head right here on the back of the collar of her little jumpsuit. She does look down about that far. Like I said, the plastic does feel a little... It's because she's so small. It feels like you could easily break this figure. And but luckily enough, I'm not playing with it. I'm just going to be displaying it. I'm going to guess a lot of you adults who are collecting these figures are just going to be displaying it as well, okay? Arms do come up. They do rotate. Like I said, a lot of the joints are really hard because I didn't heat this figure up. She doesn't have any kind of bicep swivel right here. She does have double jointed elbows, but I can't bend it right here because I haven't heated it up. But on this side, you guys can see that it does bend right there as well as right here. So it does bend in both spots, and it does rotate right here at the forearm, at the elbow. And it's weird because I can't get it to bend here around or rotate, but right here, if I grab it, it does rotate around if you guys need it to. Like I said, maybe just heat that up in some water, okay? But you can rotate it if you guys don't want her arms looking like this, where you guys can see the joints kind of sticking out. Her wrists do rotate. They do go in. They do go out if you guys need them to. She does have upper torso articulation. She does rotate, does go side to side, does only lean forward about that much. Is not really too much of an ab crunch, but she does lean forward about that much. Now her legs do come up, but right here, this little diaper area, basically, I know that's what a lot of people call that. It's really hard for her to get her leg to come up because of that. And when I pushed it up, it ended up just popping the leg off right there at that joint. But you guys can just push it back on, okay? She does have double jointed knees, no kind of thigh swivel up here. Also, no kind of boot swivel down here. But her feet do go down, they do go up, they do rock back and forth. But she doesn't have any kind of toe articulation, okay? So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a lot of these joints are just tight. There's paint all over some of the joints, so it's really hard for me to bend them the way I want to, because I have a fear of breaking these figures. I was trying to get a few of those foot soldiers when they came out last year during the haulathon, the Target haulathon, and 2 of them, the feet broke right when I went to pull them out. Right when I pulled them out, before I even got to bending them, the feet broke right here on both of the foot soldier figures. So I was trying to get a total of like 3 figures. That way I could look like I had a little army of those foot soldiers. But I ended up having to take 2 of them back to Target because they broke and they didn't have any extra ones there, and I never seen any since then. So you just want to make sure you're really careful. And I waited a long time when I ordered this figure to get it, so I know if something breaks on it, I have to send it back to Neca. They possibly might just be like, we'll just reimburse you because we're not going to send you another one. And I don't want to take that chance. But yeah, let's go ahead and show some of her accessories in her hands and stuff, and I'll show you guys what she looks like, okay? All right, now here she is with a little camera in her hand. She has her microphone, and then she has that little tape deck right around her shoulder. Now, I kind of have this pushed up over her collar because when it's just hanging right here, it kind of just ends up falling, like falling down or whatever. So I might end up just getting a dab of hot glue and just sticking this right here with some hot glue. That way it doesn't keep falling. Or you guys can just push it up right on the collar. But it does kind of look funny. This isn't meant to go around her neck and then around her shoulder. This little loop right here just isn't long enough, okay? But as you guys can see, she does hold her little microphone. Now, there's something I did notice about this camera that I didn't notice when I was showing it off. Is that it does articulate right here at the handle part. So as you guys can see, it does rotate if you guys need it to. Let me go ahead and pop this out of her hand real quick. But this part right here does rotate, but it is really loose. So when I put it in her hand, the camera either falls back or falls forward. I try and stick it like right up next to the side of her head. That way it ended up holding on there pretty well. But it does feel pretty loose. But like I said, I might end up just hitting it with some hot glue or something like that. That way it stays in place, because I personally am just going to be displaying these figures, okay? Let's go ahead and show her with that little contraption on real fast. Now here she is, that little contraption device locked around her arms and her shoulders basically. And then I swapped out her head real quick so you guys can see what she looks like with that blindfold on, okay? And like I said, you guys just pull this apart right here, just like that, if you guys want to take it off, right? Now, truthfully, I'm not going to be using any of this stuff. This is just in case you guys want to set up different displays, maybe look like she's been captured by the shredder or something. And then, you know, but me, I'm one of the people, I just kind of set up a display and then I leave it like that because I got so many toys down here. I don't have time to keep on going through all the time and posing them in different poses. I might do that like, you know, once a year or something like that. So a lot of these things, a lot of these extra hands and stuff, they all just go in bags. Now, let's go ahead and do a quick comparison of this April O'Neil with the old Playmates April O'Neil, because I have a lot of those old Playmates action figures, and I can show you guys what she looks like. Dang, her head looks really long right there. But let's go ahead and do a quick comparison, all right? All right, now here's a quick comparison of that new Neca April standing next to 2 old Playmates April O'Neil figures from 1988. These are some really old figures. This one right here has some loose joints in the legs, so she kind of tips over. But I just wanted to show you guys just how far we've come, you know, in the toy world, basically, from what we used to have right here to what we have in front of us now, you know, in 2024. You know, like I said, I still have a lot of love for these figures. They brought me a lot of joy as a child, so they're not going anywhere in my collection. It's just you know, it's just cool to update that collection with new stuff. Everyone's making Ninja Turtle stuff right now, but I think Neca is really knocking it out of the park with the movie figures and these cartoon figures right here. Now, I do have another April O'Neil, obviously, still in the package, and this April O'Neil is from 2008. So this is before Nickelodeon had bought it, but it, like I said, it's from 2008, and it's before Nickelodeon had ended up buying the rights to Ninja Turtles. But this is when they were re-coming out with some of these figures or whatever. Now, this is the same figure as this one right here, but I do notice that there's a gun. She comes with a gun. It's hooked on right back there, and you guys can actually see it inside of her hand right here. I have a quick question. With the old one, because I don't remember her having a gun. Did the old April O'Neil have a gun, or am I just is this just something they did in 2008 and I guess I didn't pay attention to it? But she does have a gun right there. Let me know down in the comments if the original 1988 April O'Neil had a gun, because I don't think mine did come with a gun. I still got the suitcase right there, the ninja stars, and I still have this little camera right here, but I don't remember it ever coming with a gun, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to it. But let me know down in the comments, all right? But anyway, guys, I hope everybody enjoyed this review of the Ultimate Neca April O'Neil figure. This is a pretty awesome figure. Like I said, the cons is that it's so small that the joints feel like they're going to kind of break when you're bending it. But like I said, I haven't dipped this thing in no hot water yet. Once I do, I'm sure them joints will loosen up pretty well, all right? Other than that, great add to my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Until next time, stay cool.